Welcome to the Bay Area's Women Theater Festival Amplify Artist Conversation. I am Cheri Miller, and I am an instigator on the Amplify team. With theaters closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, our Amplify 24-hour performance event, originally scheduled at Brava Theater for April 18th and 19th, with 70-plus performances by over 200 artists, is on hold. But we refuse to allow the need for social distancing to keep us from amplifying our amazing artists, women and non-binary and trans artists' work. So today we're in conversation with Emily Beloate, and we will talk with her about her journey as a creator, director, and choreographer. And you can find out more information about Emily's work on her Instagram at Emily_Beloate, and also on YouTube by searching her name. And we'll have ways for you to donate to Emily's ongoing work linked to this podcast. And please stay tuned for the rescheduling of the Bay Area's Women Theater Festival Amplify 24-hour performance event by visiting our website at www.bayareawomenstheaterfestival.com. Hi, Emily. Thank you for being part of our Amplify event and for joining us today.
What's up? Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
Oh, I'm glad you're excited. Definitely, it's a privilege to get a chance to get to know all of our artists that were scheduled to perform in a different way, when we probably wouldn't have had the time to do it if we were getting ready to put up the show. So this is a great privilege for me to get to know you as an artist and just as a human. So let's talk about your journey of finding. I read a little bit in your bio online, but let's talk about how you found dance, how you found movement, and how you connected to it at pretty much an early age before college, it seems, right?
Yeah. I am so lucky in that my mom introduced me to everything. I really do have to give her all of the credit. Since the time I was little, she put me in dance classes, and she is a high school drama teacher. So for as long as I could remember when I was little, I would go to work with her. I would spend hours just running around the auditorium and watching old like Bye Bye Birdie movie on the like VHS tape. So she's really the one that introduced me to theater from a young age, and I think that has just driven my passion all the way through. I feel like it's in my DNA, it's in my roots, and I really couldn't be more thankful to her for introducing me to that. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I think my mother, she took me to a museum. I think I was 3 or 4. We would have these mommy daughter dates, and a museum, I think at 3 and 4. And then I saw my first, I went to the theater for the first time. I think it was 5, and we saw The Wiz. And so, yeah, my love for art started really, really early. So tell me how you've grown through that and still was able to find ways to continually express yourself over the years.
Yeah, it's changed a lot since I was little. I've gone through a lot of different phases with theater, and with dance. Dance has kind of been I guess both have been my main like love, but dance is kind of what I've also grown up being trained in. So all through my like young middle school, high school years, I was doing dance, and then I started doing theater in high school, as many of us did. And I always loved musical theater, but I went through this phase when I was in college, sort of the first year or two of college, where I was like, I love musical theater and will always love musical theater, but I'm looking for something more. I'm grasping for something else. Because I love the way that musical theater helps people escape and, enter these different worlds into this reality where people are singing when they probably wouldn't be. But there's this part of me that's like, where's this connection between dance and theater that feels more real? And I got lucky my junior year of college. We went on a, it was technically a study abroad trip, but we went to New York City, and we got the chance to see immersive theater while we were over there. And that, I can say, completely changed the way I view theater and where I've taken my artistry since then. Because it was this combination of dance and theater, but in a way that was so intimate and created such a connection, not just between the actors literally right in front of your face, but between the actor and the audience, and creating that, literally taking away the proscenium, taking away all of the barriers, and just putting you in this raw space, in this room with just people, while also incorporating dance into that like completely changed my worldview when it comes to dance and theater and how they can connect together. So hopefully that answers your question, but that's kind of how I've grown over the course of like my life. It's sort of been dance, theater, switching between, and then finding this insane integration that has just inspired me in so many ways.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think, it's always a journey within our artistry, in becoming and developing and finding new ways to connect to our audience. And I love that, your artistry has grown in that direction of even being connected to social justice, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's amazing, because I know for a fact, that theater can heal. It
Mm.
can change. It can, do much more than just entertain. And I'm all about, making use of that time with the audience to make sure that there's something that's still, churning in them, and, um, that they're still thinking about, the ways that this performance impact them, and something is happening, in a very good way for them. So let's talk about your greatest, interaction with the audience, and what that felt like and what it was connected to.
Yeah. I think my there's been oh man, it's so hard to think of many, but one of the greatest pieces of feedback that I've received that just sticks with me was just this past summer. I did a production in San Francisco. It was called Blur. It was it was an immersive theater piece that was based on loosely based on the story of Dangerous Liaisons, and kind of set in this nightclub, and it was dance based with some monologues and dialogue and such. But one of my favorite pieces of feedback was there was a guy that came up to me afterwards, and he is sort of a regular with the theater company that I work with, and he has been to New York. He's seen Sleep No More there over 100 times. Absolutely insane. He has all of the masks. He has all of his little ticket stubs. So it's insane. So he's quite he's very picky about his immersive theater. And he came up to me and he said, that was one of the top pieces of immersive theater that I've seen. And I've seen Sleep No More, this huge professional production, like over 100 times. So that was really exciting. That was one of the coolest pieces of feedback that I've received. I think when it comes to audience interactions specifically and the way that people have perceived my work, I think my favorite is when I was in college. My senior thesis project was it was the first immersive piece that I had created, and it was in combination. I worked with a couple of other ladies on it who I love so much, and we got to I went to college in Spokane, Washington, so it's sort of this little big town on the eastern side of Washington where there's really not much theater, at least experimental theater. There's some musicals, there's some plays, but outside of that, there's not a lot. So it was the first immersive production that area had seen. And just the looks on people's faces and the things that people said as they were coming out of that production,
Yeah.
even if it wasn't the greatest piece of immersive work, because it was my first, it was my first kind of experience with it, seeing the impact that just that had on them because they hadn't experienced it before, and it was this completely new form of something, and it created this connection, and it got deeper into their souls than I think anybody who came to see it was expecting. So to have those conversations with people who said, like, this wasn't what I was expecting, but it was what I needed, and it was what I was craving and what I was wanting, that was
Yeah.
that was one of the most, inspiring things. And to this day, that is something that inspires me moving forward, is knowing that, like, somewhere there's going to be someone who hasn't experienced this kind of thing before, and it's going to have the most incredible impact on them. So
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I think it's nothing greater than having an audience that is riding with you through it all. That they're feeling the highs, the lows, they're connecting to the art in such a personal way that something is happening. Something is happening with this audience right now. So that's amazing. Let's talk about what excites you about what you were planning to perform at Amplify. We will get a chance to see it. We're looking forward to being able to take up space again with all of our artists and do this 24-hour performance event. Let's talk about what you were offering and what excited you about this performance. Can you hear me, Emily?
I might need you to say that one more time because you cut out.
It's okay. I was asking about what you were planning to perform at Amplify and what excited you about the Amplify 24-hour performance event.
Oh my gosh, I was so excited. I'm still so excited for whatever it happens. So I was planning on doing a piece that was going to happen at around 4 o'clock in the morning. And that is something that was absolutely terrifying, but I was super excited for it.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of opportunity for delving into that time of night. So the piece that I was going to do was and is hopefully a piece based on the time of night, 4 a.m. And kind of exploring, but using movement and text and and dance and some props, exploring the ideas of like anxiety that comes up during sleep,
Oh,
insomnia, and why why we see 4 o'clock of night or 4 o'clock in the morning as this intense but also can be reflective but scary kind of time of day, I guess. I
yeah.
think that's the best way to describe it. So yeah, because I know, like, personally, I'm someone who, like, I have a lot of sleep anxiety. Like, I will wake up in the middle of the night and I'll be up from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. for no reason, literally just being anxious about being anxious that I'm not asleep.
Yeah.
And like, and I'm sure
Oh,
I'm not
that
the
feeling.
only one out there.
Oh, I know that feeling for sure.
Yeah, so I was looking forward to exploring that and doing that in a way that was interesting and kept people engaged at 4 o'clock in the morning during a 24-hour marathon. So
Yeah, we're going to do it again. And, your spot and your slot is still available and will not be moved. We're looking forward to engaging with an audience over a 24-hour period and presenting so much of our work to definitely let the world know that we're here and that we're worthy of being able to take up space with our artistry without the dominant gaze upon it, but really being able to create our work in a really safe space, knowing that it's fully supported and we just want to show off. How about that? We want to
oh
really
yeah.
show off. So we
Yeah.
are excited to find a way to put this back on the calendar and continue our work in the Bay Area, amplifying our Women Theater Festival each year. This is something that we're hopefully going to continue to do. So let's talk about how you like to grow, what you're taking in right now, what you're doing. I know before we started recording, you said you were with your family, and so that's amazing to be with loved ones during this time. But let's talk about how you're growing and what you're taking in right now as far as learning and what work excites you?
Yeah, the one thing that I love about, well, don't love about the circumstance that we're in, but is the ability of people to um like take what they have and move it online. Like the fact that we're doing this, I think this is amazing. And there's so many like dance classes that people are just offering. So in many ways, it's providing opportunities for people that they wouldn't have originally. So just want to say I love that. And I think that I definitely, when this first started, there was definitely a period when I was like, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to stay motivated? Like, what's going to keep inspiring me? Um, but it's been amazing how some of the struggles that we're dealing with are things that we can make art about. And I really love that. And I've been having this interesting thought recently where I've been thinking about like, it's interesting how event based, theater and events were the first thing to go when this all started. But at the same time, it's going to be the last thing that stays. Like, if the world goes crazy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Like it's the first thing to go, but it's gonna be the thing that gets us all through this. And I know like once I had that thought and that clicked in my brain, that started to really inspire me. So I've been starting to like I swear I have like 50 different Google Docs of different like ideas for like performances and devised work. And so I'm just adding to that list at this point. Like anytime something pops up about this pandemic that I find interesting, I'm like, okay, how can we make something about this? Um
Uh-huh.
and I've definitely been doing a lot of like choreography and just finding ways to stay creative. Um Especially knowing that like and keeping the hope that we're going to get through this, like everything's going to be okay, and how can I come out of this with some tools that I can use going forward.
That's exactly how I feel. Like, how can I use this time to learn and to grow and to put myself in a space where I'm creating a greater work, a more healing work, and a more effective work,
Mm.
and
Yes.
uh, definitely want to come out of this stronger, and not just for myself, but for our entire theater family, our entire community. I want us to be stronger. I
Right. Like
truly do.
we want to come out of this stronger, not like broken. And I think
Yeah.
the way that we're going right now, there's enough progress that that's going to happen. And I'm hopeful for that.
Yeah, I love that Alvin Ailey put all of their work, or most of their work, available online for free.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
what are you doing?
Sorry, say that one more time.
I was asking, what are you viewing? What are some of your favorite free dance classes and stuff, and what are you learning from?
Oh, that's a good question. I've been doing a lot of like industry, like in LA, there's lots of, I guess, like famous choreographers who are having these kind of random free dance classes, whether it's hip hop or heels classes. I've been definitely taking advantage of those. They're mostly on like Instagram and the Instagram lives.
Oh
Or
yeah, Allen, that was
Yes.
amazing.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I've been taking heels classes with Marissa Hart. I've done some of like Jojo Gomez and Aaliyah Janelle. They have some awesome classes. So I'm just trying to like take advantage of the access that they're providing right now to better myself as an artist, as a performer, all of those things.
Exactly. I know. This is a rare time where we actually have the time. We have the time where we would be rushing through our daily goings and comings. Now we actually have the time and the space to really take in some beautiful art and to grow our artistry. So thank you so very much for joining us today. This has been very inspiring. I'm very proud of you using your artistry to connect with our social justice movements and to impact an audience to begin to think differently and feel differently and empathize with others differently. That's an amazing, amazing work of love. So thank you very much, Emily. And thank you all for listening from wherever you are. You can find links to Emily's work on our social media page, Bay Area Women's Theater Festival, and again, their Instagram at Emily-Beloate. And please, if you can, make a donation of any size to further the work, as the commitment to our art is unchanged. Amplify women's voices with us in art, health, wellness. We are signing off with Emily. Thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you. That was awesome.